I just see the Browns turning back into the same old Cleveland Browns because you never know what you have until you lose it. And as bad as they were at the end of it with Kevin Stefanski, he came in, had a couple really solid years with them, won Coach of the Year twice, had the Joe Flacco run, then had the Baker Mayfield run, and now you're going to see a franchise probably struggle for a long time because I don't see anyone jumping out of their seat to go there for Cleveland. So, do you think this is fixable in the draft, or do you also see them circling the drain? Do you think this is like 5, 10 years? Because one of these teams has to suck because even when Pittsburgh is bad, they still have a winning record. They're still in the playoffs, getting destroyed in the wild card round.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Cleveland, especially because Baltimore has their quarterback, Cleveland has their, or Cincinnati has their quarterback, and Pittsburgh historically finds their guy pretty quickly. Like, I know they don't necessarily have an answer right now at who their quarterback may be. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he comes back, but Pittsburgh is like a consistently good franchise. So yeah, Cleveland's going to be screwed. They've been a cellar dweller for the last 25 years, and I don't think that changes this next season.
Well, Cleveland Browns fans, I hate to say it, but if you have any hope for your franchise next season, or if you agree with us and think you're potentially going to be circling the drain for the next half to full decade until we all die of a nuclear annihilation, let us know in the comments. So, Cleveland Browns not looking too good next year. Let's move to your favorite team in this division, though, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Probably your favorite coaching hire of all offseason. I know you're really excited about this. Mike McCarthy is now their head coach, and it seemed like that was someone that Aaron Rodgers wanted to get fired in Green Bay, and now he's coming to Pittsburgh to be potentially Aaron Rodgers' head coach, but we don't actually know if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. It looks like until the end of April, shortly before draft time is what the Roonies are saying. So do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back, and what are your thoughts on the coaching change for the Steelers this offseason?
Such a boring hire. Like Mike McCarthy, I mean, you have Mike Tomlin, who's been there for a million years. He's been pretty consistent for them. They've never had a losing record. You get Mike McCarthy, who was old for the NFL 5 years ago, didn't really shine in Dallas whatsoever, despite the fact that they had all these great weapons. They had Dak Prescott at the peak of his powers and a fairly okay defense. For the Steelers, like, they have a good defense 10 years ago, where they have like the Jaquan Briskers of the world, Jalen Ramsey 10 years ago. If this was their roster in 2017, I would be super excited for the Steelers team. But instead, like, their offense is going to be fine. Jalen Warren's fine. Rico Dowdle's fine. DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman, that's a fine receiver core. And then their offensive line, it's going to be average at best. Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers that we knew 10 years ago. He's probably middle of the pack now for quarterbacks. And then their defense is just old. TJ Watt's old. Hayward's old. Patrick Queen's getting older. Like, everyone on their defense is old. So do I think they'll still be solid? Yes, I think they'll still win 8 to 9 games because they pretty much seem to always do that. But again, they're going to get to the first round and they're going to get blown out by whoever they face.
Yeah, and for me, if I'm the Steelers, I know like you're up in the air if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, I don't know why the Steelers aren't a team that's, pursuing Mac Jones harder. Because I feel like he's the perfect Steelers quarterback where he can come in and he has probably the best tight end, not duo, but trio in the league where you have 3 massive targets there. Now you have DK Metcalf, you have Michael Pittman, you have Rico Dowdle, who is good at times, and then you have Jalen Warren. So for me, like, you have Aaron Rodgers, I get it, but if you want someone to come in and compete with Will Howard for the starting job and potentially be his backup quarterback or be able to play for a few games for you, I would say the Steelers should probably pursue someone like Will Howard, because even if Aaron Rodgers comes back, you're not going to have the position next year to draft a quarterback. So why not go out there and trade for one? Like, I know Kyler Murray's probably not your guy. And then Rich Eisen was talking about Kirk Cousins potentially replacing Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't come back this year. But I feel like this is a team that should be going after Mac Jones and picking up the phone on draft day.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. Give up a 5th-round pick for Mac Jones. He's solid. I think he's better than Mason Rudolph. We don't know what to expect from Will Howard. So why not? He's shown that he can be a starter in the NFL, even if it's just for like a year or two. and they has decent weapons. It's probably the best weapons he's had since San Francisco. So I wouldn't hate that. But Pittsburgh, I feel like what they really should do, and they're not going to do this for a long time, is just like maybe just have one losing season over the last, like, you haven't had a losing season in 20 years. I don't think that your fan base is going to cry about it. I think they would rather see you miss the playoffs and like actually rebuild than you consistently making the playoffs and not doing anything in the first round. But they're never going to do that. Pittsburgh's always going to be okay, but not great because they're stuck in the middle right now. And I don't know if they're ever going to get over the hump at this point, win a playoff game. I just don't see it. This team is too old. And when Aaron Rodgers comes back, that's not going to make them any younger either. So realistically, I think they should tank, but they won't do that.
And they have, Will Howard floating around there, but their like needs heading into the offseason were quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, and defensive tackle. And they kind of addressed all of that in free agency where you sign Jamel Dean, re-sign Asante Samuel, sign Darnell Savage and Jaquan Brisker. And you also trade for Michael Pittman. So if you're the Steelers, are you probably looking to replace Cam Hayward like the Philadelphia Eagles did with Fletcher Cox, where you go out there, draft someone like Jordan Davis, or you go out there and get another really solid defensive tackle? So I think for them, maybe cementing that defensive line so you get some more interior pressure along with Cam Hayward, because he was really good last season. He was all pro, I believe, but he's still someone who can miss a game on a given week just because he is a little bit older.
Yeah, I definitely think they should do that because Hayward, I believe, is going to be 37 this year. Yeah, he turns 37 in May. He's not getting any younger. He is still an effective player, but if you can get somebody in the draft, I know like they have like Zion Young coming out of Missouri. He looks like he could be good. Linebacker wise, they have like the Jacob Rodriguez of the world. He could be good, but they have the 21st overall pick. I would go out if you can, address that pass rush, get some pressure off of TJ Watt, maybe get another linebacker in there because you have Cole Holcomb, Patrick Queen, and Alex Highsmith. Great linebacking core. Edge rushers, find somebody that can be, second string behind Cam Hayward. I think that could be beneficial for them. And then after that, maybe draft a running back because Jalen Warren's going to have to get paid eventually, and you're probably not going to pay him, most likely.
Yeah, and they also signed Travis Homer, and the Steelers seem like they always hit on running backs, and just a hire with Mike McCarthy did seem like they're turning into the Dallas Cowboys a little bit, even though Mike McCarthy has won a playoff game more recently than Mike Tomlin. That game, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so that'll be interesting. But for the Steelers, I still see 9 to 10 wins here because I do think, like looking at their free agency, they got better on defense. And with Michael Pittman and Rico Dowdle and Travis Homer, you're better on offense too. So if they hit on a couple picks in their draft, like Mike Tomlin's been a really good coach for a long time, but him and Mike McCarthy are from the same era. So I don't think there's too much of a difference at this point. And Mike McCarthy beat him head to head in a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And Green Bay just decided that mediocrity was unacceptable sooner than Pittsburgh did and moved on from Mike McCarthy. But they had similar struggles in Green Bay and Dallas. Mike McCarthy and Mike Tomlin, that is.
Yeah, and right now they are literally the AFC equivalent of the Packers, except for the Packers have their future quarterback and look a lot more optimistic moving forward. So Steelers, they're going to probably be 8-9, 9-8, and lose in the first round, most likely.
All right. And that is our Steelers preview. So if you are a Steelers fan, let us know if you think you're going to win a playoff game this year. Are you optimistic about your free agency acquisitions? You're optimistic heading into the draft and about Mike McCarthy being your head coach? Who do you think your quarterback is going to be next year? Do you believe in Will Howard? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. Eager to hear what Steelers fans think about their team going into next year. Let's get the Cincinnati Bengals out of the way here. All right. So what did they do this offseason? They re-signed Joe Flacco. They signed Josh Johnson, adding another team to his Infinity Stones here. They signed offensive tackle Orlando Brown to a $32 million extension. They signed Boye Mafe to a 3-year, $60 million deal because JSN wanted all the money. And then you also signed Jonathan Allen at defensive lineman. Then you signed safety Brian Cook to a 3-year, $40 million deal. So Steelers or Bengals pretty much just need defense. You have everyone on offense. You have all your wide receivers, all your running backs you could want now. And now you pretty much just have to load up on defense and get some offensive line help.
Yeah, and right now they have the 10th overall pick. They can go after someone like a Sony Styles out of Ohio State, who looks to be a good linebacker. David Bailey from Texas Tech. It looks like he's falling within that mock draft for them. Or if they want to go offensive lineman, they got Monroe Freeling from Georgia. But for them, I mean, if they had a decent defense last year, or even just an average defense, they would have probably made the playoffs. Joe Burrow's intro didn't help, but I will say, like, with the additions they made, Boye Mafe, he's a stud. Jonathan Allen's a little bit older, but he does make them better. And Miles Murphy last year was one of the few bright spots for them. Realistically, I think they just need better linebackers. So that's where I would address. And then their secondary, which was pretty much never been really great. So that could be a nice addition there. I just don't know if they can fix their defense in one draft. But at least you lose Trey Hendrickson, you bring in Boye Mafe. Maybe you take a slight step back there, but at least you're able to bring in Jonathan Allen. So I think their pass rush should be fine, but get some linebackers, get some secondary help, and maybe then. You don't need anybody on offense outside of offensive linemen.
Yeah, and for the Bengals, you don't need a great defense either. You just need a defense that can get critical and clutch stops and maybe create a couple turnovers where if you're a Cincinnati Bengals team, what you should be doing is playing as aggressive as possible to give your offense as many opportunities with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow to go out there and score points. And the addition of Boye Mafe takes a lot of pressure off of you in the draft to get all of that defense made up at once because now you know you have an edge rusher who can go out there and make some plays. So if I'm then I'm going after a linebacker, someone who can really help me out and be a hawk in the red zone. And then after that, we're focusing on safety. And then everything else is just falling in between. But I do think that signing of Jonathan Allen and Boye Mafe is key just so if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you're not thinking about getting everything on defense in the draft, where now you only need a hit on one or two really good players and a couple solid key pieces. And then you're going to be in pretty good shape for Cincinnati because when it comes time for the playoffs and when it's cold, anything can happen. And the Cincinnati Bengals offense can operate as a defense at times if Joe Burrow is healthy. And that is really the big if now because we're now going on consecutive seasons where Joe Burrow has been dealing with injuries or a slow start for the Cincinnati Bengals. And the combination of both of them has been a season killer in back-to-back years where we have not had Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's been their biggest killer.